What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with another Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 Skalgrim Mod ship showcase. This time, we're going to be looking at the knife ears, specifically the CRAFTWORLD knife ears and their brand new Titan, an old Titan in some ways, the young CRAFTWORLD. Pretty interesting. It's going to be by far their largest cost ship by so much. I mean, compared to the Ultron class, it's nearly twice as much. So that is a major investment. On top of that, it is so expensive that it can't actually fit at 1400 cost into the standard 1200 point battles, so you have to do a massive battle if you want to actually play around with it, which is pretty interesting. Other than that, let's just take a quick analysis as we usually do on these things, and then proceed to actually trying it out. So, the young CRAFTWORLD. First of all, absolutely massive amount of HP, I believe paralleling the Throne of the Silent King there. So a very tanky ship. And speaking of tanky ships, these are once again the Asuryani, and the Skalgrim Mod does a pretty good job of differentiating the different Eldari subfactions. The Asuryani being specifically focused on being much more slow and tanky, as opposed to there's sort of a direct contrast with the Corsairs, who are really fast, and they're made of wet tissue paper. But they also dish out quite a bit of damage. I find the Corsairs are fairly scary because of that. But if you cripple their fleet quickly, just with the first couple of good moves, their effectiveness of fighting you is essentially broken. Whereas the Asuryani are much more of a slow advance and kill you from long range sort of thing. We'll get into the Drukhari later when we check out their ships. Anyway, back to it. The Asuryani's tankiness is sort of like it's epitomized in the young CRAFTWORLD, I think, because it does move fairly slow. It's got decent front side and rear armor all evened out, and it has a high amount of HP and a lot of weaponry on board. Now, speaking of the armor, one thing that does jump out is it appears to have 75 front armor, and I believe every single Asuryani ship above light cruiser class actually has 83 front armor, so the young CRAFTWORLD is the only one that doesn't have it. We can see that every single other ship has it. The light cruisers also do have the 75 all around, same with the escorts, but all the other bigger ships don't, which is kind of interesting. I do wonder what the design or reasoning for that is. I wonder, is it already so powerful that that giving it even more armor would be kind of obnoxious. Also, the bioregeneration that the Skalgrim Mod gives the Asuryani and their Wraithbone hulls increases the effectiveness of the of these amount of HP points, similar to the Necron Super Titan, or Mega Titan, whatever it's called. Anyway, let's see what else it has here. Now, I do notice that it has Lightning Strike 8 damage, which is a fairly low. It's equivalent to the Ultron class, but at twice the amount of points, it's identical. I also want to point out that it doesn't appear to have boarding capabilities whatsoever. In fact, boarding is not even here, so it can only do lightning strikes. Maybe because the little ships that presumably dock with it would do all the actual boarding. This is the quintessential mothership, of course. I mean, it's a CRAFTWORLD. You can't. It's difficult to get more mothership than this. Though, speaking of it being a mothership, it doesn't actually have any carrier capacity. Once again, because I assume that, lorefully speaking, it doesn't release little fighters, it releases other ships that would then potentially have fighters, or other ships would dock with it and would fly around it, acting as picket ships. This is why in this particular fleet, we are going to be bringing a couple Ghost Dragon ships and a Phoenix ship, just to provide a little bit of a launch base, and to protect it from fighter swarms and border swarms and stuff like that, because the border swarms could very well hurt it. It does have good troop efficiency, so it can still do a decent amount of damage with boarding, probably not to a degree a Drukhari craft can, but still pretty darn good. Let us now take a look at its weapons. I think everything else here is pretty standard. 70 turrets is pretty damn good. With the relative strength of Eldari fighters and this number of turrets, it should be fairly well insulated against enemy attacks. Now, first thing, it has 5 torpedo launchers. You know what? We can take a look at its weaponry while taking a look at the actual ship. Here we go. And it's way too big to fit, but it does look absolutely magnificent. Although I'm not a big fan of the Inari colors here. Wait, let's do this. And then zoom out a little bit. And then let's switch it to Astara. There we go. I like the gray like that. It looks like it looks here like it's made of silver with all these, I presume these are shielded habdomes on top of it where the Eldari actually live. But what it makes it look like when it's silver like this, it's like some sort of, I don't know, like jewel-encrusted, I don't know, piece of jewelry, like a brooch or something, I don't know, but it's just like, it's made of silver and it has these gems that are these hab shields, presumably. And I think that really works with the Eldari aesthetic. Like, I think they'd appreciate the description like that, and it absolutely does look magnificent. I'm so glad that it was able to get functioning, because I believe there were, I believe it was supposed to be, like, there was an attempt to make it functional previously. I don't know the exact story of it in previous mods, and something went wrong, or it bugged out. And oh look, it's got its big brother, or its mother, the mothership of the mothership, the real mothership. Reminding me of a Futurama episode where they went to, where they took all this effort to destroy a ship that looked like the mothership, but it was only a tiny ship, and there was a much bigger version of the exact same ship that they were fighting in the shadow of the entire time. This is what it's reminding me of, but it's still pretty cool. And the original looks pretty great. All right, enough gushing over this. That's all the gushing you'll get, Eldari. I don't usually go in for that, so, well, at least not for the Eldari anyway. So let's take a look at what you do for your weaponry. The torpedo launchers, as I was about to say, 5 freaking torpedo launchers at 8 projectiles. That is an insane amount of firepower. If anything gets close enough to actually get hit with the full spread of 40 torpedoes, I feel like that's going to do... I mean, what? It's got to, like, bring down a Titan to half, or maybe even, I don't know, a third or half or more. I'm not going to. Well, it obviously depends on the Titan and the amount of HP. Some of the Titans are much more fragile than others, but it will cripple a Titan with a single volley up close. So, interestingly enough, it might be good to play this thing in a sort of close combat sort of thing, just to cripple the enemy's own motherships. Mothership versus mothership sort of deal. Otherwise, it'll probably destroy instantly anything that's lower than a Titan, so very, very powerful there. We have an Ulthran Lance as well as a CRAFTWORLD Star Cannon Beam. I take it that these two are custom... Skalgrim Mod, possibly, weapons, and the reason I want to say that, or at least maybe they are weapons that are derived from other factions or stuff, and I'll get into why I think that is later on in a bit. Let's check out what they actually do. The Ulthran Lance delivers an insane amount of alpha at 1125 damage every 25 seconds. That's pretty damn good. At a fairly large range, although the angle of fire is a mere 10 degrees to the front. Similarly, the CRAFTWORLD Beam Star Cannon, 10 degrees to the front, and lots of attacks, though. Decent range. Critical success is 25%. Oh, the Ultra Lance is also 100% chance of critical. I just noticed that. Very nice. And the Ultra Lance is precise. I would be curious to know whether it can go through enemy hollow fields, or if their chance to avoid weapon damage in general would avoid that as well, because that would be really unfortunate. But anyway, Pierce Armor as well on you. No Pierce Shielding, though. Interesting. Although not much shielding could stand up to this sort of firepower. Again, because of the frontal arc that we've got here, this thing is really seems to be meant to be pointed directly at the enemy. Yeah, like an arrow from, I don't know, some Eldari god's bow or something. I'm trying to be poetic here, but it's not working. Not that it ever is. Alrighty, now, the other two weapons I believe are more or less standard-ish, although the Mogunra's Scythe, I believe, is also a Skalgrim Mod weapon. But here's the thing. I did a brief test of this thing against the Tyranids. I actually tried testing this out, and I did notice two things. One, don't test this thing against the Tyranids, because they're all stupid and they will all ram it, and it has so much mass that the entire fleet will kill itself, and it'll be a really boring battle. Like, it took like 30 seconds. They all literally just died trying to ram it. I have no idea why they behaved that way. I remember them always behaving that way in vanilla, but it was a little bit surprising. And they only had basically one ship left that way I had to destroy manually. But anyway, what I tried was trying out the different stances that the Eldari have, the runic targeting node and the reload, and it appears that the runic targeting node, which changes the degree of angles, only, unless I'm mistaken, works on these two weapons, on the CRAFTWORLD lace cannons and the Mogunra's scythe. They say angle of fire 90-degree front on both of them, and this will change it from 90 degree to 270. In fact, this thing might be stuck at 270. It's showing 270 even though it's saying 90. Also, the reload function works on both of these as well. I don't remember if it also works on these guys, but it definitely works on these two. So, in that light, I think when you need to be careful about picking these... when picking the upgrades for... Well, I mean, generally you want to be careful in picking the upgrades, but... for these particular things, because several of the Eldari upgrades do determine how much more powerful the reload and the runic targeting node skills are. So yeah, I definitely got to keep that in mind. Anyway, I think that's enough of the brief analysis. There's nothing else that's really all that important here other than a bunch of standard Eldari stuff. It does have an insane amount of identification range at 18,000, although of course it does, because why the hell wouldn't it? I mean, look at this damn thing. If it had a low identification range, that would be really bizarre. Alrighty, so anyway, let's get back to it. Let's jump into a battle. Let's get a quick... Wait, did I go back to ship viewer? My bad. Maybe I just wanted to take a look at it one more time. Let's go back. And yeah, this is what I was talking about. So I'm going to get Kin-Crude batteries for the reload stance increases. If we face a Titan, I guess this will help, but I don't believe, once again, that it'll apply to either of the first two weapons. It'll just apply to the other two. The fire rate of star cannons, lace cannons, and scythe missiles is increased by 2% every second to a maximum 75%, as long as it's firing, essentially. The other thing is I'm obviously going to get accelerated batteries. I, once again, don't remember whether this applies to everything, but it'll at least apply to the lower range weaponry that it has going on. So just those two. I was debating whether to get... not Spirit Stone Targeting Node, although I suppose what you could do is you could combine Spirit Stone Targeting Node and just stay in Runic Targeting stance to increase the range, but I feel like I'm going to spend more time in reload range on this thing, especially as I feel like it would be pretty beneficial to get it up close. The other option would have been to go for a Blessing of Vol, as once again we are going up close, and it would probably also apply to the last two weapons, because they reduce armor to 25. The first two already reduce armor to 25, so that doesn't really matter. Although the other two did. I actually don't remember whether Mogunra's scythe does any of that sort of thing. Let's just double check that. Weapons accuracy, so it's precise. It doesn't do anything to the enemy armor. And the CRAFTWORLD lace cannon. Why would a lace cannon be... inaccurate at lower range? That doesn't really matter. It's just knife-ear stuff, I'm sure. Anyway, let's also pick a couple of technical skills. I didn't pick them this time. And now what I don't want to pick stuff that will prevent us from making this particular ship shine, because it's essentially going to be a one-ship fleet, right? And I decided to go for a 2,000 point, essentially, sort of thing. 1946, yeah, so we'll give the enemy 2,000 points. So that's why I'm not going to get Maelstrom, because then that'll be the Maelstrom and not the young CRAFTWORLD doing damage. I think, I don't really want Hollowfield Overload. I think we're going to go with Micro Warp Jump just in case we need to reorient ourselves, especially as this thing is pretty darn slow. And I don't know whether Wraithbone reinforcements would work on it. So the front armor of ally Eldari ships within a 9,000 unit radius around the ship is considered 90 for 30 seconds. Now, when it says ally, does it also mean itself? Because if it means itself, that would be useful. If it doesn't mean it, because it is at 75 armor at the front, but if it doesn't mean itself, then it wouldn't be nearly as useful. And I don't really care enough about the rest. I suppose a Stasis Bomb would also be really helpful, just to slow down an enemy ship, and then get the CRAFTWORLD up close, and then hit it with a bunch of torps, but anyway. Anyway, I'm just going to try out the Wraithbone Reinforcement, see if that works. Yeah. Alright, these two are good. We're going to go with the Ostara sort of colors, because I already expanded on why that looks way better than the, unnecessary garish red of the Inari. And I think we're good. Let's get to it. Launch. Who do we... Okay, I just said I don't want to fight the Tyranids game. Let's pick another enemy to fight. Wait, we could just... No, if we press random, we might get Tyranids again. Screw it. You know what? Let's go against Chaos. Why not? Why not against Chaos? Let's give them 2,000 points. There we go. Eldaria versus Chaos, maybe we'll even luck into a Slaneshi fleet. That feels right, doesn't it? I feel like a lot of the other factions wouldn't feel as good. I mean, yeah. Probably be testing this thing out more later on and others anyway, because this is just a preliminary sort of thing. Let's go. Let's get to it. Let's see how well Chaos does against us here. And we're basically going to just use the one ship. We did bring a few supporting ships worth 600 points, but I'm going to essentially pop them in a cloud and just have them launch fighters. I don't really care if the main ship dies. We just want to see how well it performs against the enemy. And there we go, looking absolutely glorious. Although it is hard to make out the entire thing, to be fair. Ooh, and it's a really cool map as well, with all these freaky-looking warpstone asteroids. Nice. Nice. Alrighty, this is the aftermath of the of Warhammer Old World, and after the moon came apart. Let us get, I guess, you moving over here, or do we move over here? You know what? Move over here, and then we'll keep you guys. I guess you guys can go into runic targeting, whereas you can go into, well, start off with runic targeting, but switch to reload. Oh, speaking of, so look, we have a reload time of 25, 14, 4, and 1, right? Switch to reload. Still 25, still 14, now it's 2.4, and now it's 0.6. So yeah, it is only these two that work. And that runic targeting node, this one still tries to do 270 degrees. Maybe it is just 270 degrees and it just says 90 degree front and it's lying. But if we take a look at Mogunra's scythe, if we switch to runic targeting, it'll switch to the 270 degrees, because I think one other thing that I do want to mention about this thing is it clearly has a massive vulnerability, which is faster enemy ships, especially because it does appear to lack Vol's maneuver. It just has a high energy turn, right? So if they go to its sides or to its rear, it can't really do much about that, and it'll have to keep enemies to its front. Well, this isn't really a problem against the AI, but against the player, a player could absolutely take a massive advantage of that weakness. And that's another reason why this is another sort of ship that can't really take care of itself, in the sense that it does need some supporting craft. But anyway, let's get back to it. Ready, up, go. What do we have for the enemy Titan? It is a Conqueror. Oh, that's an interesting matchup. With exceptional troops, Alright, well, let's see how much damage we can do. And because the enemy only has the one Titan. Alrighty, now what I want you guys to do is... Oh, and it also does have a hollow field. The enemy missing a target this big just seems, kind of hilarious to me. Ooh, and also the hollow field looks pretty great on the, on this model. That's pretty damn awesome. Yeah. Really cool. Because clearly I haven't taken a thorough look at or study of this thing's appearance. Anyway, where is the battle? Oh, hello. I was so distracted I forgot to launch defensive fighters. Oh man. Can you turn away? Let's hope that the enemy fighters reach us. Oh man, well, come on. Oh, did they get here? No, it looks like our fighters got here just in time. Oh man, yeah, that was. Let's be fair. That was always bound to happen. What do you guys have in terms of weapon? I don't really care.
I stand ready.
You do stand ready. You do that. You guys, will you need to launch more fighters? I don't think so. Hey, and we can identify the enemy because we can already see the Conqueror. Let's head straight towards it. I'm gonna slow it down when we get closer. I suppose if we need to get away and reorient, we can always micro-warp jump all the way back if we don't get boarded by like a billion enemies. Alright, are you close enough to start hitting the enemy? Almost. You're gonna get a... there we go. Ooh, that looks really cool. All the turrets firing those star cannon... or the lances. Star cannon beams, sorry. Alright, so I take it these... are these things the Mogunra's lance? What I don't... Star Cannon Artillery and Mogunra's Scythe, sorry, yeah. Oh wow, it's already done a fairly decent amount of damage. Whoa, it's already critting the hell out of this thing. We haven't even gotten to, well, I suppose we don't actually want it to approach us because it's a Conqueror and it has an insane amount of troop damage, but it's too late to do anything about that now. You're gonna switch to reload right away. Oh, are you really gonna turn Conqueror? That's a bad idea, buddy. That is a tremendously bad idea. I'm gonna slow it down because I want to see this. Oh, we need to launch more fighters? No, we're okay. I mean, considering the amount of damage it's already dished out, and the fact that we're sort of playing to the enemy's strengths by moving closer, Huh. Looking pretty good. I did just launch the Torps. I want to see them hit, although I'm hoping that the Conqueror doesn't have too much of a prow that is actually missing. Ah, look at that thing absorbing fire. Seeing the Eldari the young craft world is sort of everything Warhammer is about. I mean, it's just so ludicrous execution. What the hell are you doing? Ooh, look at that spread of Torps. And look at that. Oh my lord, that just destroyed it. We're basically at full HP. The Conqueror is dead. It dropped like, what? I want to say, more than half HP with a single volley. That's pretty damn insane. Alright, this thing is pretty damn nasty. Alright, what do we have over here in Astrodome? Oh, let's slow it, speed it back up. You know what, actually, we could slow it back down and pop it into auto-engagement and go into 4.5 at close combat, but I do want to target you as the main enemy. Oh, and look, they got a few borders. That's adorable. I really wish that their lightning strike was like a special lightning strike that penetrated shields, though, just because it can't board at all. And oh, I just realized, didn't we take abilities? We took the ability to increase our allies' Wraithbone shield, or Wraithbone, I forgot what the name of the ability was, but the front armor, and it's not here. It's not beside it. Oh, does it not work? Maybe it's a vanilla bug I don't remember anymore. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a long time since I played the Eldari in vanilla. And oh, our fighters are coming back. No, guys, you need to help here. Actually, do you need to help? This thing appears to be fine. Anyway, you keep doing what you're doing, buddy. You keep doing what you're doing. We actually have another spread of Torps almost available. Alrighty, well, we can see, however, one of the problems here, is that the fact that these guys are going to start shooting it in the side. We are getting one of our hits on the Astrodominus here, but I don't believe that was the Ulthran Lance. Alright, and oh, we just got hit. Oh, we just got our hollow field wrecked there. Ooh, that'll mean an increase in the amount of damage that we take. Alright, wait, you turn. And get ready to fire your spread of Torps right there. Alrighty, and I think this thing's dead now. We can turn. I assume that those Torps are gonna hit. There we go, 40 Torps, and that's their Admiral gone, just like their Conqueror. Using this thing is really fun. I can't wait to try it out in the campaign. Alright, well, we don't care about all these little ships. In fact, use your high energy turn to move over here. And we still haven't dropped low in terms of our just shunting a piece of that Conqueror around. We're shoving it around, I suppose. And there we go, our holofield's back up. And now we can target these guys. We have another spread of Torps as well. This is their biggest ship, another Astrodominus. In fact, we want to brace or keep on reload. This is just hilarious. This is an absolute slaughter. These guys have no chance here. We're not even using these guys to support it. I even forgot to set the fighters to help out again. I'd actually like to ram with it. This thing unfortunately doesn't have a spur, despite the fact that this entire thing looks like a spur. Especially against the smaller ships. Being rammed by this thing would probably rip it apart, but once again, it has so much mass it probably doesn't even matter. Alrighty, let's move this debris out of the way, and then as soon as it's out, i.e. it's not going to block our Torps, in fact, let's move up ahead. And it does move fair, it does book it, doesn't it? Alright, there we go. We got another spread of Torps going. I want to slow this down for another hit. I am so enjoying watching the massive amount of Torps destroying the ships. Just like that, and boom, it's gonna die. There's no way it's gonna survive this. I can still hear the Torps hitting it as well. Man, I never thought an Eldari ship would bring me so much joy, but this thing is working. This definitely does spark joy. Alrighty, oh, and we have dropped in terms of our troop capacity. We could have also been transferring troops this entire time, but obviously we're just, we don't care. This might as well be a 60 or 1400-ish point battle versus a 2000 point battle, and they have no chance. Alright, start going after their other big ship. Alright, you don't need to high energy turn anymore. It is a render battleship. Oh, so another enemy with exceptional troop capacity, eh? Oh, did I forget to send more? We are out of Torps. I do, however, want to ram a render. Hopefully we have enough. Let's go, let's go. That Conqueror got destroyed. Oh, man. Oh, it ran out, damn. Oh, well. Oh, well. Look at all the shots coming in. Just by virtue of how much that's firing, that's pretty good. And everything that fires that fast. Ooh, there's the ram. And yeah, you can see the mass there, even without the spur. Look at the damage coming in on that. It's basically dead immediately. So that's what happened to the Tyranids when I tried this. They all got wrecked. And I do believe the battle is just about over. I think that's the last enemy ship remaining. We're about to be in red troop capacity, though, although obviously I haven't been doing call to arms or anything like that. A little bit more weaponry crits, but we can hopefully repair that. Wait, what? Cancels light criticals and fires on board. Apparently these are not light criticals. Oh, it's on the torp launcher. It doesn't matter because the torps are... they're not being used for anything. Man, what a fun battle. How are you for troops? Huh, will this actually bring you down to 0? That's another reason that why it would need support ships, and you got to be careful about using a single massive ship in general. As a general tip, here comes the tip. Ah, so much joy, and I believe that's it. That other ship got destroyed. Now one wasn't even quite sure what killed it, i.e. what particular weapon. There we go. Hollowfield looking magnificent once again. A victory for the young craft world. Hopefully Mommy Craft World is proud of it. There we are. Alrighty, so obviously that's the end of this showcase. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do next. I'm definitely saving the Adeptus Mechanicus for last because they have a bunch of reworked ships in addition to their new ships rather, and we might as well all do that at the same time. I'll think about it, so stay tuned for whatever showcase we do next. Hope you enjoyed the Young Craft World, because I damn well did, and once again, I can't wait to use it again. Absolutely a glorious fun time. I have no idea what the hell happened with the Wraithbone reinforcements, but I really don't care because clearly we didn't need it. We didn't even actually take that much HP damage. In fact, the Hollowfield Overload might have been useful for us, as we did get hit with the Disruption Bomb, and it would have been nice to get it back up, Slash Giggle, with alacrity. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like and a comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.